All right guys, finally getting around to making another video here, updating you guys on the Parker. As you can see, we got it repowered finally. Got a 300 Suzuki dual prop. We had the bracket and the jack plate on there already, so that was ready to go for the install. But they sea trialed it after it got installed. But I'll just walk around and give you guys an update on what's going on. I'm probably going to start doing a little bit different videos here, showing you guys like the actual work, because now all that's left is electronics and doing some non-skid in the cockpit area. We waited to do that to last, so that way it was nice and clean when we're done. We're not tracking dirt in and out. But I'll give you guys a little walkthrough, show you what I'm working with inside and the game plan for the electronics and whatnot. Obviously we still got to do the fish box there and get this aft bulkhead put in, but that'll be after we get everything rigged up how we want it. Exterior wise, it's pretty much all the same as you guys saw it last time. We climb in here, you know, we gel coated in the bilge. I just gave her a rinse out. I kind of tidied up the wires a little bit to run how we're gonna want it. The jack plate relay is down there with the fuse. We'll step inside here and I'll show you what we're working with for the dash. Yesterday I kind of came up here to the shop. Mike over at Morehead Marine Services, shout out to him for letting me use the shop, use some tools that I might need. He also hooked it up with all the electronics, so if you guys need anything, be sure to get in touch with him. He does great work. Him and Andrew over here, you might be seeing some of Andrew. He might help me out with my project here. You can see we got the controls put in. I decided to go with the ignition down here rather than like somewhere like up here, just so it's out of the way. I mean, when you're standing here, you know, you don't really need to be looking back here. You're gonna be looking this way. So once you turn the boat on, that should be good to go. One thing I'm deciding, this is the display for the Suzuki tachometer. This is the digital display, so it shows you all your, you know, important information for the motor. I'm trying to decide if I want to put it up top here or if I want to just put it straight flat like this. This is pretty much the view you're going to be having if you're standing or even sitting running. You know, my seat kind of sits kind of high, so instead of having to like lean back to look up here, this is kind of a nice angle to just look down and see your gauge. Kind of just messing around with some of the layout stuff here. You can see pretty much got the templates put in place for my two screens, and this is going to be for my trim tab controls. This is actually going to be a wireless phone charger. That's pretty cool. And then on the side here, I was kind of playing around yesterday with the template for, this is going to be the VHF radio. So I'm thinking about just putting it up out of the way, you know, hanging my cord here, having the mic here. That way, if you just need to reach and grab it, it's, you know where it's at. You might have to look around to change the channel or something like that, but you know, usually just leave it on whatever channel you're working at the time. If I don't leave it up high, I might put it down low here, but I'm thinking about just keeping it up out of the way. Eventually I'll put a stereo and that'll go right below that, so that'll look pretty good. But I'll show you guys what the inside looks like so far. All that's in here is the Suzuki harness is hooked up, as well as everything for the controls and ignition and steering. So I kind of came up here yesterday, tidied up what was already here. So that way I had a nice clean slate to pull wires and start installing stuff. As you can see here, this is the back corner of the cab. This is where my rigging tube comes through. There's a nice chase up here, and it'll run up underneath the gunnel. We'll tidy up that so you won't even be able to see that even if you were crouching down a little bit. But just giving you guys an idea where I'm at. Got a couple boxes full of parts. I'll talk about the parts that we used for this project, just if you guys are interested. So here inside the shop now, just got my pile of parts sitting here. As you can see, we went with 2 screens. They're pretty much the same screen, except for this top one here is the XSV, so it's already hooked up for the sonar. You don't have to have a separate module in order to run a sonar transducer and all that good stuff. For that, we have the Airmar. It's a B60 12 degree, if you guys are interested in that. And then there's the VHF. Just went with a pretty simple Garmin VHF 115. And then this is that phone charger. I'm pretty interested to see how this works. I mean, usually I just have like a, standard 12 volt plug with a cord, but this will be nice to have, antenna for the VHF. And that's pretty much it for now. I mean, got an anchor light up there, some standard stuff, but just wanted to give you guys a look at what we're looking at there. All right, so I'm gonna try my best to walk you guys through what I'm doing here. So I'm just gonna pull my house feed to my fuse panel inside the cabin. That's gonna go from my house breaker, which is back here by the batteries, and it's gonna run through the rigging tube up forward. So I just need to pull, obviously, red and black to feed that fuse panel. There's a negative bus on it, so I need a negative up there. I'll probably try to set the camera up, but it might not work out good, but I'll at least try to walk you through what I'm doing here. I also got the lugs to figure out what size lugs I need to crimp onto the ends in order to hook it up to my breaker there. So yeah, that's what I'm starting on first. So this is what the inside of my panel here looks like, where my battery switch is and my ACR and house breaker. Got a 30 amp breaker on there. Might eventually have to upgrade that if we get like a sound system and all kinds of fancy stuff on here, but for now that should be good. On the back here you can see everything's wired up. The only thing we got to do is connect our house feed to the bottom of our breaker here. So I just got to find out what size lug I need to go on that stud right there, and then we can make our ends. So I've got my first wire pull all taped up and ready to go. I pulled a string from back aft up here. That way I can pull my 2 leads, and an extra string, so that way I always have one in the chase good to go for when I need to pull some more. So I'm gonna get these laid out, pulled out, and then I'll be able to measure and cut where they need to go for the console, where the fuse panel is gonna get mounted. So I'm gonna knock that out real quick. So I got my house wires ran and fed into the console here, just sizing my ends, getting them ready to be crimped on. I'm gonna use this hydraulic crimper to crimp those down, and they'll go right on this fuse block here. So I got my ends put on, and I just connected it to the fuse block to see kind of how I want to do the layout, how everything runs in here. I don't know if I want to have it, closer over here, but I'm just going to figure out what looks cleanest and how my wires are going to be ran in here. There's going to be holes cut in this whole face here and over here, so those aren't really mounting options. So we're going to use the floor inside the console to mount everything. See if I got everything labeled kind of how I want it, but just gonna figure out what I want, how I want it to look, and start mounting stuff. All right, so jumping ahead here, we got our house wires fed. We also ran 2 more duplexes. Andrew showed up, so he's helping me out today get some of this stuff done. We just started drawing the lines for the templates for the screens, so I'm just going to take a straight edge here and connect these dots, and then we'll take the fine tool and start cutting holes. Same with the phone charger and the trim tab controls. All right, so Andrew's gonna film this for me. We already drilled out the corners for the screens. I'm just gonna take this fine tool here and follow my Sharpie line. We taped up around it so that way nothing gets messed up. But yeah, I'm gonna put my PPE on and go to town. All right, so we got some holes cut here. Now I'm just taking this 3/8 Makita sander and going around and trying to smooth it out as much as possible, just so it's a clean fit, even though it's going to be hidden. Just did the last hole for the VHF. Now I just got to clean it up with the sander. Looking good. All right, so I'm finally doing some test fitting after cleaning some stuff up. Went in, installed the fuse block, and tidied everything up underneath. It's still loose just because we're gonna be adding some stuff later, but for the test fit on the screens, I'm just putting them in, and then if I need to shave down anywhere, putting a little reminder with an arrow so I know I need to shave some more out of this corner and this corner, and same with this one. So I just look around back. You can kind of see where it's kind of tight at all around, but overall it's coming around, so just keep plugging. All right, got a couple things mounted here. Got the VHF flush mounted, as well as the ScanStrat wireless charger. This side screen fits good. I need to do some more shaving on this, as well as the trim tab controls hole. So I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow afternoon sometime, but I'm done for today. So we'll check back in and continue on.